All right, I hope everyone's having a wonderful, what is today? Thursday? Uh, Pretty cloudy here today in Seattle, which, this time of year you're going to kind of get that. I wanted to do a video that people have asked again about Seattle, and that video is how much money do I need to make to live here? Now, of course, that's relative, right? That depends on where you're living at. It depends on if you own a car or not. It depends on how frugal you are with your money. It depends on a lot of different things. So you can't really just put it in small terms like how much money do I need to make in order to live there. However, I will discuss about the average income in Seattle. Now, this is the typical income. Now, I know I'm going to have some people that says, well, that's not true. How can you say it's that much? I don't believe it's that much. So, again, I will bring together the facts on this here in a few seconds, which talk about an article I saw today in the Seattle Times, which talks about this. But Seattle is now the fastest growing income city in the country. So no other city in the country grows faster, their income faster than Seattle. Now that doesn't mean that Seattle makes more, than other places, but it's pretty high up there. The average income in Seattle is $80,000. So I just recently saw that the average now in the United States is like 56,000 and something. Let's just say 57,000 is now the average income, median income. The average median income in Seattle is now at $80,000. So basically, we're going to go. I'm going to show you on the computer pretty much what the article says, how that has actually happened, where other cities lie in terms of that, the top 5 cities where income has actually gained in 2015, and then the bottom cities that basically their income has been lost. So again, it's all about economics. It's about where you live. It's about many different things, but we're going to talk about it. It's no surprise that most of the cities, actually all but one of the top 5 cities, are West Coast cities. There's one that's considered to be Midwest, but we'll talk about it here in just a second. Okay, so I wanted to again go to the internet here to kind of show you what this is talking about, and this is out of today's Seattle Times. As you can see, September 15th, 2016, which is right there. Came out at 5:45 in the morning. Right now it's about 9:30, a little bit before 9:30 here in the morning in Seattle. But it says $80,000 is the median income, and it says income gain in Seattle is in can't talk. Income gain in Seattle far outpaces other cities. So again, it's number 3 in terms of the median income, household income, but it has gained income faster than any other city in the country right now. That means more so than New York City, more so than Chicago, more so than Miami, Dallas, Houston, what other cities? Los Angeles. So it is by far faster. So as I mentioned, it talks about the top 5 and the bottom 5. So Seattle income hits $80,000. The median income increased by $9,000 in 1 year, the biggest increase among the 50 most populous U.S. cities. So the top 5, Seattle, the median income in 2015 was $80,349. That was a change from 2014 by $9,000, so $9,400, let's say. San Francisco was number 2. Its median income is $92,094. The reason why it's number 2 is because the change from 2014 to 2015 was only $7,000. Portland, median income is $60,000. Kansas City, $50,000. And San Jose is $91,000. So if you look at this, the top cities with the biggest median income is San Francisco first, San Jose quickly after that, and then Seattle after that. All of these cities, with the exception of Kansas City, are all West Coast cities, so it's not a surprise there. The bottom 5 cities would be Las Vegas. Their median income is $49,000. It went down last year from the year prior to that by $615. Indianapolis, which is where we had once lived, is down by 41,000. I'm sorry. Its median income is only $41,000, but people make $1,000 less in 2015 than they did in 2014. Charlotte, North Carolina, $53,919. People make $1,260 almost less than what they did from 2014 to 2015. Virginia Beach, $67,000. Again, $1,500 less. In Miami, only almost $30,000 is what people make on median household income. And so that's about almost $2,000 less than what they made from 2014 to 2015. Now, it'd be interesting to see basically politically how these places, and I don't like to bring politics into anything, but it'd be interesting to see how politically this kind of plays out too, because I think income and how people vote sometimes go hand in hand. And what I'm saying by this is that if people are seeing their incomes drop, then they're going to believe a certain type of way, or they may tend to say, you know what, hey, this isn't working, versus other places people are like, what are you talking about? Things seem to be great here. I haven't seen my income drop or anything like that. So I think that's what I mean by it's interesting to see how this will play out politically. But as you can see on the map, the 4 blue dots here, Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, and San Jose, which they're close to each other. Let's see what this other graph shows real quick. Okay, so this is something that's important because people talk about the cities around Seattle. The median household income in Seattle area cities among Washington cities with at least 65,000 people, Kirkland was the highest median household income, and I believe that. I went to Kirkland recently, and they're really and truly doing a lot of construction over there. They built this new massive hospital complex over there. It's really beautiful. Kirkland, the median household income is $102,000. Bellevue, $98,000. Seattle, $80,000. Marysville, which is far up north, $75,000. Auburn, which is down south, $70,000. Renton, $68,000. Kent, which is also down south, $66,000. Federal Way, down south, $62,000. And Tacoma rounds out the bottom, which is down south, at $52,000. Now, obviously, the one that gains the fastest income so far, it's showing Marysville. And then after that would be Federal Way, if you're looking at this particular map. And then, of course, Seattle is right after that. Let's see what's the next one before we go into the article. Race. This is one of those touchy subjects, not a surprise to me. It says whites have the highest median household income in Seattle, more than twice that of what blacks earn. All groups experience significant gains in income, with the exception of Hispanics. The median household income for white households, $90,000. Asian, $70,000. Multiracial, $70,000. Hispanic, $49,000. Black, $37,000. It's showing that multiracial families have the biggest change, with almost $20,000 in gains. Next would be Asian, then white, then black families. So if your household earns less than $80,000 a year, you're now in the minority in Seattle. I can definitely believe that statement. I did a video not too long ago talking about the cost of housing here and what the price is for a lot of just basic studio apartments and things like that, and 1-bedroom apartments, and also kind of touched on housing. But this kind of gives you an idea. I believe recently, as I said early on, that the median income for most of the country is now at $56,000. So you can kind of see the huge difference here. So this can give you an idea if you're coming from an area where that's the average income, 50-something thousand, and then you come here, you can kind of see what you're really up against. This also holds true later on down the line. I read this article earlier, but it talks about how the reasons for this, why the income is so high. And it also goes to the point what I said in another video a long time ago that talks about the fact that some people buy homes, tear down those homes, and can do a complete rebuild. There's a lot of permits here in the city where people will buy a house and do a complete rebuild. They will tear down that house. You'll see it throughout Seattle. At one time, Mercer Island, I don't know if that's still the case, led that, where there were more people there tearing down houses and rebuilding on Mercer Island than mostly any other place in the area. But a lot of folks here have that income. That also goes to say there's a lot of people who don't make $80,000 a year, and they're able to make it here. Okay, but again, it depends on where you live, depends on how you do your budget, that type of thing. So it says that that stunning news came to light in data released Thursday by the Census Bureau. It shows that in 2015, Seattle's median household income broke the $80,000 mark. So before someone criticizes myself or the Seattle Times as being biased, the Census Bureau is basically what's giving this information. And so it says the income nearly jumped by $10,000 in 1 year. That's the biggest increase. It says that number 2 was San Francisco. So there you go. If this sounds like everyone in Seattle got a big fat raise, that's probably not what happened. More likely scenario is that a lot of high-paying new jobs were created, pushing up the median. That's very true. Maybe it's not surprising when you consider the pace at which Amazon and other Seattle companies recruit computer programmers who, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, earn about $120,000 per year in this area on average. One person, $120,000 per year, typically for folks who are computer programmers. Now, again, I'd mentioned that Amazon had at one point, and I don't know what it is now, I don't work for Amazon, but they had like 50,000 jobs in this area that haven't been filled yet. So it gives you an idea. Also, Microsoft, before I came here, someone had said, now I can't prove this, but someone had said that in the early years, Microsoft created like 10,000 millionaires or something like that because of the stock and everything else that came into play. So now you have Amazon, you have Microsoft, Expedia.com is based out of here, Big Fish, which does a lot of gaming and things like that, is based out of here. Google also has an office here. Facebook has an office here, so you can kind of get an idea. And they're competing with San Francisco and Silicon Valley because it's so expensive to do business there. Now let's go back up to the top of this, which talked about the income. So for a programmer, let's say a programmer in general, let's say they're making $120,000 here in Seattle. Well, they're going to be making much more than that in San Francisco and San Jose. So why pay them more money? At least what, $10,000 to $12,000 more if you're looking at this, and this is a bad range. But why pay them more money whenever you can pay them a little bit less? $120,000 on average is what people would make as far as computer programmers here based on this versus what it is in San Francisco. But it says, according to the new data, more than 1 in 5 Seattle households have earnings above $150,000. Overall, Seattle's median income remains third behind big cities San Francisco and San Jose. Income growth was also strong in many suburbs. Again, Kirkland, Federal Way, Auburn, and Kent saw gains of $4,000. And fast-growing Marysville, the income surged by $14,000. Marysville is growing tremendously, tremendously fast. You can go to this article, which is up here in the address bar, and you can find this article, and then you can click on fast-growing Marysville to basically read that. So it goes through and it talks about pretty much overall the income here. At the bottom, it says that, let's see, in Seattle, incomes grew dramatically for whites, Asians, blacks, and multiracial people, but the gains were not across the board as earnings for Hispanics stalled around 49,000. With the sharp rise in income, Seattle black households now have a median income of only $37,000, which is on par with the national average. This was not the case in previous years. Seattle had one of the lowest median incomes for black households among major U.S. cities. Even so, black households still lag behind the city's other racial ethnic groups and earn less than half that of white households. There was also a slight narrowing in the gender pay gap. In Seattle, women who work full-time earned 80% of what men made, comparable to the national average, and up from the 76% in 2014. The new data also shows that 12% of Seattle's population lived below the poverty line in 2015, down from 14.4% in 2014. While that marked the largest single-year decline in the past decade, it was still higher than the 10.6% poverty rate in 2009. So when people ask, what should I make, or how much should I make, what type of jobs, this article kind of gives you an idea of what you're really dealing with. Because when you have higher income overall, then everything pretty much here is more expensive. Daycare, for example, is extremely expensive. We looked at, just to look, we looked at daycare, and it was for an infant, and this was just down the street, for an infant that is 3 months old, and we were checking for Seatte, which she's not 3 months old yet, but for an infant, it was going to be, I think Noelle said, $1,900 a month. So $1,900 per month for just Seatte to go every single 5 days a week, for a month. For Zara, who is 3.5, it dropped to $1,100 a month. And so you can kind of get an idea. If it is a child who's I would say between 1.5 to 2, you're probably looking at about $1,600, I believe they said, per month. And Zoe, because school starts kind of early and ends early for her, before and after care, 5 days a week, that means that she's there for a few hours early, before school starts, and then there until we pick her up. That would be about $520 a month. So you can add up how much all of that is. You can add up the average prices for a 1-bedroom apartment. And right now we have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment here. So you can get an idea. And you can get an idea how much money you're spending per month. And that's just on daycare, and that's just on housing. That's not counting the cost of electric. It's not counting the cost of water. It's not counting the cost of a transit pass, which, we have. It's not counting the cost of food, which the girls can definitely, I can eat too. It's not counting any of that. So you can get an idea of how expensive it is to live here, especially if you're a family. But anyhow, hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Any comments, questions you have, please put it down below. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.